Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this new Waif album, The Caretaker. Waif is the synth pop project of Miss Ananda Rose Plunkett, and her early days I casually enjoyed. Her album Caretaker, I thought it was very easy on the ears. There was a real old school beauty to tracks like Octaves and The Operator, but there were also a ton of moments on this album where I kind of thought that Nanda could push her ideas a little bit further, which she certainly did with her follow-up album Probable Depths, which was very much more progressive. But to me, it was a little bit too left field, a little too out there in parts. I wanted her to kind of find a medium. And you know what? On her Form A EP, she finally freaking nailed it. It was the perfect combination of sort of left field ideas and genuine beauty. And she filled it out into a nice album on her follow-up, Lavender, which was actually low-key one of my favorite indie pop albums of the year. Here, Nanda showed that she could really harness some of these experimental feels, but there was also just a serene beauty to this album, just an old school beauty to this album that I really love. And let me tell you, one thing is for sure, over the years her vocals have just gotten better and better. Let's chat about this new album. This album's intro, Cloud's Rest, gives me the chills right off the bat. Between Nanda's very heavenly vocals and this incredibly vast atmosphere, I have absolutely no complaints. It's sort of spiritual sounding as well, which I think is a really great element. And this track is just out there enough, just experimental enough to really stand out in the indie pop field right now. I mean, as far as some of these ideas go, these are pretty far out there as far as Nanda's music goes. And in the center of it all, Nanda just sounds like this absolutely explosive musical force. This is a great intro. Siren is up next, and it's a whole lot busier in a weird way. It almost reminds me of like One Tricks Point Never's Good Times soundtrack, but a little less intense. I love how whimsical this track is, and Nandy's performance just comes off so ethereal here. She sounds like a complete otherworldly entity, but like in the best way. This one also has a slight progressive feel to it. I mean, there's certainly enough going on here for it. God, it's moments like this that make me just look at this and feel like she's come into her own light so much. With My Best Self, it kind of just becomes really obvious that Nanda really knows what she is doing and has her sound down to a science. I really love the rumbling in the distance when it comes to this intro and the vocal effects, because if this album didn't sound otherworldly enough, this really knocks it out of the park. And it's only made even eerier by this very haunting performance of a chorus. This is absolutely wonderful, but it's also pretty far off from where I usually like hearing her. I mean, personally, I usually like hearing her maybe more a little bit in the medium between her experimental and her more serene sound. However, with just how focused she comes off, this actually works very well. It's also lyrically one of the most powerful tracks here. This is awesome. And as far as a straight up ballad goes, In August might be the best one here. It's longing, it's tender, but it's still strangely cosmic. It's kind of like listening to Nanda reach out to a lover in another dimension here. Personally, I think it's a great sound. As far as pound for pound beauty goes, this is one of the most beautiful tracks here. Overall, this album feels like Nanda has actually come out with a pretty great medium for her sound. Halogen 2 is one that I really didn't think I was going to be into, but the off-kilter funk here is actually really hard to resist. And the dual vocals here make this come off so much more alien, but so much more right. And Nanda actually ties it together with an absolutely stunning chorus. And the gigantic drums that come in towards the finale. Oh my god, this is classy. Later on the track list, we have Brace, and I tell you, when it comes to some of these real soft ballads, Nanda really does have a way of reeling you in very quickly, too. I mean, as far as tender moments go, I think this is the most heartfelt track here. And while I thought that a very quiet, sobering track wouldn't be really what I was feeling right about now, it really scratches all the right itches. But I do kind of feel like Nanda still has a way of getting ahead of herself a little bit too much for my liking. I'll be honest, me and lapsing midway through the album just do not click at all. For one, I'm still not into some of these slower tunes. This one is just so drawn out and just, I'm not feeling the glitchy production. It's just an instrumental interlude that didn't need to be here. Blinking Light, I'm kind of up in the air on. It took me a while to get into, but still I'm not sold on it. This off-kilter pacing, it's a little bit tougher to get into. There's other tracks on here that use this as well, but here she does kind of get the hang of it. But I don't know, I feel like this track is just needless extras, smoke and mirrors for no reason. I don't mind Nanda, branching out. As a matter of fact, I love it when she gets a little weird. But for me, all the bells and whistles on this track just detract from her performance, and that's not what I'm here for. Generation, on the other hand, is literally one of the most boring tracks here, and the exact opposite of everything I loved about a track like Brace. And it's tough because as far as lyrics goes, this is literally one of the most down-to-earth moments on this entire album, and I think it's probably her best. But oh lord, between this one-dimensional instrumental and Nanda's vocals, which here just sound like they're not into this, I'm not into this. This one has just so much potential, it's a shame. And Window Place as a finale has a lot of potential as well. It's tough because this kind of doesn't have that last real left hook that I needed to really send me home happy, but her performance here is still pretty commendable. As far as Nandy's lyrics here goes, there's some of her more far out, some of her more weird, but I actually think as far as those go, it actually works really well. It's an okay finale, and you know what? This is just a sort of middle of the road album from Halfway, but honestly I think Lavender's much better. Still, her ballads are great, and when she's on her experimental side, she's more focused than ever, but still, she tends to push herself a little bit too much. I think that she actually needs to stay in her comfort zone a little bit more to really knock me out of the park again. But I'm feeling a decent 7 on this album. It's a pretty decent, pretty sweet on the ears album. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below if you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.